I beat him down very, very badly. Very badly, to a point where he's lying on the floor and I freak out. And there's a saying that says, every master was once a disaster, you know? Yeah. Trying to live happiness, right? We all want to be happy. But at the same time, we're too much in our mind, and our mind is not our mind. That monkey mind belongs to somebody else. Close your eyes, don't think about anything. But it's no good to the people. Because they'll be like, how do I do this?
Wherever you are, check, how are you feeling right now? And start listening to that voice.
Every single person who's watching this video right now, they've all experienced this before. They all experienced it.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Spiritual Teachers of Our Time show. And today we're here in the beautiful city of Madrid. And we have an amazing guest with us. Eric Ho is a renowned international speaker, entrepreneur, philanthropist, educator, and author. Eric, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
The first question that I have for you is a question that I'm asking all of our guests.
Okay.
And that question is, how was your spiritual awakening process like?
How was the spiritual awakening? Wow, okay. That's a very big question to start off with. I think this is a continuous journey. I think that there will come a time where some incidents happen in everybody's life, where some pain happens, some trouble happens. Maybe sometimes it's even our own, this explosion of our own emotion goes out there, then we see the reflection out there and we're saying, what am I doing with my life, you know? And so I think that kind of thing happens a few times, happened a few times in my life. And that gives you the awakening. And when we talk about awakening, I think it's important for a lot of people to understand that my awakening was very, very recent. I always say to people, I'm a newbie to spirituality. Because even 5 years ago, if you told me live in the now or law of attraction, I'll be like, I don't quite get what you're saying. So I'm a newbie to it. But a newbie that's very, very experienced in it. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is the awakening is not so much a learning. The awakening is more of a remembering. And I'm sure you know what I'm saying when I say that. So, meaning that the old souls of our time, they will always have this physical life. They get consumed by ego and society and how we've been conditioned. Then suddenly what will happen is in the moment, they seem to get it all. It's kind of like, you know, I'm sure you had that moment too. It's kind of like the whole 5-10 years of your life suddenly unfolds and you're like, what was I thinking all the time? And how can we get such a sped up, accelerated learning curve? It's because we're not learning. We just come to that moment, aha, I remember everything now. Yeah.
And everything makes sense. And what was that moment for you?
Or I've actually never talked about this in public. It's actually very interesting. We go into this today. My dad was a gang leader, a mafia boss.
Really?
Very, very strong ego, very strong leadership, very alpha male, and that was my idol. Mm-hmm. I always liked, I thought, that's so cool, so many people following him, you know, he's so strong, you know, I want to be like that. So what happened? It built up the very strong ego Eric, mm-hmm. which is I'm always right, I'm the strongest, whatever I say goes, don't you speak to me like that. I lived the majority of my life so far that way, up until I was 25, 26. I used to get into a lot of fights, which is very surprising for a lot of people today, because a lot of people today, they look at me, they say, Eric, wow, you're so zen all the time. Like, you know, and to be totally honest with you, it's been about 4 years. I've never had the anger, frustration, 4 years, never.
Wow.
I haven't had one argument, not even any relationship, nothing, no argument at all in 4 years.
That's super zen.
and people say, so wow, it's like it's crazy how you do that. But I always say that, and there's a saying that says every master was once a disaster, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And that really connects with me, because when I was 26, I was doing business. I was making a lot of money in the steel business, one of the partners that we had cheated some money. I got very, very angry. It wasn't a argument. He came through the office door and I went straight in with fist. That's how I used to deal with things. And I beat him down very, very badly. Very badly, to a point where he's lying on the floor and I freak out. Because in that emotion, we're out of control.
Yeah, something takes over.
And when I looked at that, something shook me up in that moment where I was like, what the hell am I doing with my life? Why am I doing this? Why do I need to do this? And so that was one big awakening that happened to me when I was 26. And then it kind of kept unfolding after that. I said, I need to be nice. Come on, practice be nice. Why am I always so angry? And that was the first part of the big awakening.
And what did you start doing? Like, did you start reading some books about how to be Zen?
I think I didn't. I think I was very upset that I knew I was a bad person. It felt like that, I was like, why am I such a bad person? Why do I need to be like that? And that upset made me become aware. I always say the first step to change is awareness. If we can't see it, we can't change it.
Exactly.
Because I seen it. Seen it lying on the floor there. That was the result of me, and I said that I need to do something about this. So actually, it was very simple things back then. It wasn't so much like I need to find a teacher or a spiritual master or anything. It was more so that I just decided that I need to be nicer to people. That was the first shift. Second big shift was when I was out in Bali, about maybe 6 years ago now. I seen yoga class in the morning, and I said, yoga, let's go do some stretching, So I arrived there, and I seen the master there, and I didn't realize I had booked a one-to-one class. I thought there was a whole class there, So when I arrived, I was like, what's going on? So I sat there and I said, is the class starting? He said, yes, we can start now. I said, it's just me and you? He said, yes. And then he sat me down, and the first question he asked me was a profound question. He said, so, what would you like to learn? I said, yoga. And then he said, no, like, you want theory or practical? I said, there's theory? I thought we were just doing some stretching. Right? So I said, okay, tell me the theory first. As a result of that, we sat there past the 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, 5 hour. I was asking questions, right? In this yogic language, we call it nigamagam. There's the asking and replying, right? So I was just asking. And asking, and I was so fascinated because everything he said makes so much sense. And that's what I'm saying. I reflected the whole of my life, and I said, that's right. Why did I not know this before? But it's so simple stuff. It's like I don't know if have you ever seen Osho before?
Yeah, of course.
It's like when Osho says, you must live in the now. And everyone's like, wow, that's powerful. But that was my moment. It's like it's so simple teaching, but for whatever reason, in that moment, it connected everything so much more than it has ever before. So I remembered everything.
Yeah, of course. And it's not so much about the information you can tell to someone, like be in the now. But when you really get it, and when you start to receive the information from a place where you're really open to it and you're getting it, then that's when the process really starts.
That's right.
Or the fun really starts, because
right.
there's nothing as fun as being here. And right now, I'm very grateful that I get to experience this now moment with you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You were talking a little bit about your father, and I know that he was a big inspiration for you also on your entrepreneurial journey. And can you tell a little bit about that story also? I know you had some franchising businesses.
Yeah.
I know it's not super spiritual, but
I think it's very spiritual.
Of course,
we can look at it that way, right? Abundance, wealth, right?
Yeah,
so
what isn't, right?
I think that dad was very strong leader, like I said. I think a lot of the characteristics I've built today is because of that. It was good foundations, you know. He taught me a lot about leadership. And I think even as crazy as it sounds, sometimes you look at mafia bosses, there's a lot to learn there.
Absolutely.
They have this influence to be able to influence people, you know.
The masculine power.
Yeah, that's right. So there's things to adapt. The only question is these powers that we learn, do we use it for negative or positive? That's the only difference, isn't it? And so I learned a lot from Dad. Dad taught me to take risk. Dad always taught me, well, whatever you do, give it your all. Be the best, you know, do your best. Yeah, be a great leader. So when I was 21, actually, you know, go back, I was 15, I left home. I was a rebel. I literally disappeared in the middle of the night. Mum was crying, Dad was angry, and, you know, Dad built me up. He built this machine to do that, you know. So I left home. I started working in burger vans, fun fairs, selling burgers at fun fairs. I did that for about 5 years. Working at a lot of festivals. That's why I'm really into your music as well. We went to a lot of festivals, and so, and then went from there to when I was 21. I said I wanted to start my own business. I took a big loan. It was for £460,000. I swiped about 5 credit cards. It's about 6 business loans, a private loan, loads of loans.
You were super confident about yourself. It's quite a risk, isn't it?
I think you can say confident, but I think at the same time, I think I was, you can say naive as well.
Yeah.
I was young. I seen Dad do business like that.
Yeah.
Take loan, do business, take loan, do business. It was a part of my nature, you know. I think my upbringing taught me that. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that. So what did I do? I opened it up. When I opened it up, there was no business.
Yeah.
And when there was no business, I was like, oh no, what's going to happen here? We're going to go bankrupt. I'm 21, you know. But it taught me a lot, because then I went out to find more business. I broke out of my comfort zone. I was the shy boy in school. And then I said, I need to make this work. I can't fail. And it was a lot of ego. And it's interesting when we talk about ego, because a lot of people say, get rid of ego. But actually, I think ego has ego's use.
Yeah, I think you need to walk hand in hand with ego. Like,
there's a driving force.
Yeah.
There's a driving force. And so when I used that, I said, you know, I don't want Dad to see me as a failure. So I said, I need to prove to him that I'm going to do this, you know. So what did I do? I went out onto the street, started handing out leaflets, pull everyone into the restaurant, come try, you know. And then it became busy. Then I opened second restaurant, third restaurant, fourth restaurant, fifth restaurant. Then I opened a franchise. This franchise, we've recruited 52 franchisees in 2 years. I was 24, 25. I was making a lot of money. I bought an Aston Martin, I bought a yacht, I bought a house on the water, I bought like £100,000 worth of watches. I don't even know why. I was searching for happiness, you know.
Yeah.
So I did all of that, and that was kind of my journey. I think the most important thing when it comes to entrepreneurship, people always say, Eric, you know, tell me some secrets about business. How do I make money? And I say, actually, have you started a business yet? They say, no. I say, well, start a business.
Yeah.
You know, you got to start. But I'm trying to plan it first. You know, I said, you can't plan it. You can't plan the challenges you're gonna come to. Let me tell you something. Just start it. Just do it. You know, sell something. You got to learn to sell something. And I think people fear stepping into it. When in fact, actually, when you step into it, then you need to figure it out. You know, that's life. And so, the same philosophy I take into every area of life. You know, and I say, the only way to get good at business is you need to be in business. You can't be out of business and get good at business. People also look at my YouTube channel today, they say the same thing. They say, Eric, wow, you built, I think today we're on like 400,000 subscribers. I built that in one year and 3 months. People say, wow. 1 year and 3 months, you got 400,000 subscribers? Eric, how did you do that? Tell me the secrets. I say, I can tell you the secrets, right? But it comes the time when you make all your videos, are you going to keep posting it? Are you going to stay consistent? When you get 20 views and 30 views and 50 views every single day, are you going to keep going?
Yeah.
Right? Because let me tell you something, I did that for 5-6 months. I got, what, 50 views. Most of it was myself viewing it and my mum and my family viewing it, you know? But I keep going because I know, hey, persistence, consistency, that's what it takes for success. So I keep doing it. 5 months, I do daily videos. Imagine that. Imagine doing, what, 200 plus videos with 50 views, and your subscriber going up 1 a day, 2 a day, -1 a day. 5 months later, it's still the same, right?
Yeah.
What would you do? Most people, they give up.
Yeah.
But what do? You keep tweaking, find out what people want, you keep giving them what they want. And then what happens? Boom, there comes the exponential growth. People always look at the growth. They say, wow, Eric, you struck the $15 million deal when you were like 25. That's really impressive, yeah? They say, how did you do that? Maybe don't ask me that. Maybe ask me how many things that I failed.
Yeah.
How many times I said, hey, can I try this? And it didn't work, right? Because I know everything in my life so far has been exactly the same. Business, the same. Speaking journey, the same. I built a fashion business up into Paris Fashion Show, same thing. Did the YouTube channel, same thing. I have 200 failed videos. Then I have one, have a little bit of a trend. And people look at the one and say, how did you do the one? I found the one by doing the 200, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really love the saying, they say, fail forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say that. It's really about that and about failing fast, you know, people right now I'm learning this, you know, like, okay, this is not working, and I'm immediately like, okay, we're gonna quit everything that I thought I was gonna do and I'm gonna do this. And the people around me, they're like, oh, but we invest, it's like, it's not working, let's keep moving, let's make decisions fast, let's keep on failing, because I don't even see these things as a failure, you know. It's the game, you know.
It's part of the game. You know, the more times you can fail, the faster you will get success. I think.
Yeah, and actually, I think because my happiness is not attached to, you know, to the results that I'm having.
Right.
So
right.
You know, I'm not tricked that way. I just keep enjoying the process every
right.
single day. You know?
Right. When there's no attachment or no expectation of the outcome, right?
Yeah.
There can never be disappointment.
Exactly.
Meaning people can keep going, because when we understand the simple principle, back to living in the now, what does it mean? It means, hey, I'm alive, you're alive.
That's it.
Like, it doesn't matter how much you think you're screwing up. Whoever's watching this video, it doesn't matter how much you think you're screwing up right now. Do this check. When you do this check, you're telling me you can't be grateful for life? You know, there are people dying out there right now. You said, oh, I'm struggling with finances. Oh, I've had a relationship breakup and it's killing me, you know. You're alive.
This is such a gift. It's insane. And going back to what you said about the ego, like, I think there's a point where we need to kind of deconstruct the ego, and there's where a lot of people is at, and they're like, okay, no ego, no ego. But actually, when you reconnect to what is really happening, that beauty, that magic of this present moment, of this gift of life, this whatever is like making these forms that we are here, like, you understand, no, ego is amazing, and these desires that I have for things are actually amazing if they are hand in hand with source, with like this magic of creation. It makes us like humble and have desires at the same time. Isn't it?
I think it would be boring without ego.
Absolutely.
Life would be boring without ego. Yeah. Think of it like, people, the thing is, you know, a lot of people when it comes to spirituality today, they think that it's about all Zen.
That's boring.
Okay.
That can
Just
be.
breathe. Just be here and now. That's all. Okay. So we can say, okay, we do that all the time. Well, that's all. That's the whole life. So just sit here. Through the whole of this physical existence, right? There is something powerful. This is why it's beautiful when we talk about yin and yang. This is what we were talking about before. Yin and yang. Because we are this spiritual form in this physical being. In this physical being, we are playing games like the money game.
Yeah.
The material game. The physical game.
Yeah.
Right? And we are here in a spiritual being. Now, this world, what do we have? We have two types of people. We have the very spiritual people. Yeah. Oh, every day, just, you know, find a tree, hug a tree, all day, hug a tree. What do? They stress about paying bills, no? They stress.
Yeah,
They're like, that's why, I mean, as rude as this can sound, there is a lot of people, and you take it how you take it, right? But there is a lot of very broke spiritual people out there. They're struggling with the physical, material life. But spirituality is about abundance.
everything is spiritual. Like,
So you have the spiritual people. Then you have the physical, very physical people, which is all about materials. The chasing.
Yeah.
They don't know about, hey, breath or life or
it's
being.
left brain, logic, go get it.
And what they do, fight all of their lives. They fight all of their lives. And those people, I can guarantee out there, they're thinking this. They're always asking themselves, why am I doing this? What's the point in life? Why do we chase all these things?
Oh, by the way, I was gonna ask you, how did you feel? You had success, and then you transitioned to a more like.
Oh, that was. Let me tell you something.
Did you feel some emptiness while you had physical success without the spiritual side? Let's call it.
I tell you, when I was 25, when I did the franchise, then I did the steel business, and I struck these deals. I made so much money, I didn't know how to spend it fast enough. As stupid as that sounds, and that's why I bought all these watches and everything, right? I was trying to find something.
Yeah.
What makes me happy? You know, you're in a band. I started a band.
Yeah.
You know what was interesting? When I started a band, I said, okay, I'm going to learn guitar. Because I don't know what else to do. I learned golf, I learned shooting, everything. I learned everything. So I get singing lessons. I learned guitar. And I asked my friend, who's a very good guitarist, I said, what's the best guitar out there? And he told me about this Fender Strat that Jimi Hendrix used to use. I said, okay, £1,500, I could buy that. And he said, oh, you got it. I said, I don't know how to play it, but I got it, you know. I was buying everything because I was searching for something.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't last long, because about 6 months down the line, you know, I used to get into my Aston Martin every day, and this is how bad my mind was at that time. I used to say to whoever it was up there, I say, maybe just take me away.
Yeah.
I didn't have the guts to do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, hey, maybe drive a car and maybe just do something, you know, take me away. Good job. My law of attraction skill wasn't so strong back then. Otherwise I would be here right now, right? So I was like, okay, and every day I was like that. And then what happened was, I just didn't want to be here anymore. A friend of mine, her name was Lisa, she said, Eric, come to a volunteer trip with me out to Kenya. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm not going to Kenya. Why do I want to go to Kenya? And I remember I used to drink a lot. I drink a lot because I was depressed, I was stressed. And I was drinking a lot. And I said to my friends that night, I said, this girl called Lisa asked me to go to Kenya with her, you know. I said, it's crazy, you know, why would I go to Kenya? They said to me, Eric, don't go. I said, why? They said, it's really dangerous out there. I heard dangerous. I called Lisa. I said, Lisa, I'm coming. It was literally like that. It's funny how things connect in life.
Yeah.
I went out to Kenya. I seen the kids, no food, no clothes, no education, no nothing, right? This was around 8 years ago now, 9 years ago. And that is where we built the first foundation. I seen it. I have a non-profit organization. Yeah. It's called Age Giving. I built that foundation there around 9 years ago. I bought a piece of land. I built the orphanage. I built the school. I said, this is life. I said, what was I doing all this time? I said, I love this. Like, giving is living. I said, this is it. I said, I don't need materials anymore. I started building this foundation, this orphanage, this charity. And every year I go back there. I see the kids. I mean, even these years, every year I still go back there. And we have a few hundred kids. And it was funny when I first built it, because I thought I figured out life. I went from materials, the physical, to no, it's nothing to do with that. I went back, first thing I did, I sold my Aston Martin. I said, I don't need this anymore. Don't need it. So what did I do? I bought the cheapest car. When I bought the cheapest car, I used to break down and everything, you know? Mm-hmm. And there's so much inconvenience.
Yeah.
And I was stopping myself from buying materials. I said, no, not about materials. No. It's all about just spiritual, just being spiritual, you know? And I found that I was getting out of my way to be spiritual. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's almost like, you don't need shoes, barefoot, you know?
Yeah.
That's how Buddha does it.
Yeah.
You know? It's like you get out of your way. I got out of my way to be spiritual, and it was a more stressful living. You meditate in nature, you know, it's very, very deep question I asked my master a few years back. I said, Master, every time I meditate, I have this one big problem that I just can't figure out right now, and I need you to answer this for me. He said, what is it? How do you meditate with mosquitoes? And he said, what? I said, like, when I'm sitting out there, mosquitoes are always there, and I was just like, how do you focus on nothing when you're trying to get rid of mosquitoes? He asked me a profound question. He said, why are you meditating with mosquitoes? I said, what do you mean? I'm not choosing to meditate. They're coming to me. But you're going to a place with mosquitoes to meditate. Why are you doing that? I said, well, it's nature. That's what happens. Why don't you just close the door, sit in your room and meditate? That's quiet. You can go into nothingness so much easier. I said, wow. I never thought of that before. He said, if meditation is about nothingness, you're trying to be calm. Why would you go into a place where things are crawling all over you to meditate?
Making it harder.
I said, but people talk about, Buddha, barefoot, out, nature under the tree. Yeah. And I say, and then what he said to me, he said, of course he's under the tree. He said, back then, they didn't have air conditioning. It's sun, it's hot. He hides under the tree, that's shade. He said, now you have air conditioning, go inside, don't go outside. And I'm like, that is amazing. And I started to figure out this balance. That's what I'm saying. I went from physical, logical, to totally 180 spiritual. I'm a spiritual, no, I don't need materials. To saying, actually, you know what? I think I figured out something else.
Yin yang again.
What if we are, which we are, this spiritual being in this physical form? Whether you like it or not, we are playing this material world. How do we play that, and how do we play this kindness, this love, this spiritual at the same time? So that is the core message today,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's good that you touched on meditation, because I see you doing a lot. I saw that you do a lot of guided meditations, but that you also say that meditation is about nothingness. So can you talk a little bit about that?
There's a lot of forms of guided meditation today. Affirmations meditation, chakra meditation, healing meditation, visualization, so many different things. It's kind of, people have invented so many different modalities, and the reason why people have done that is to try and make people more aware and make it easier for people to understand. What is meditation? If you can, nothingness. Close your eyes and nothingness. Think about nothing. If you can calm your mind to that point, boom, you are in connection. So if I was to make a YouTube video right now and I was to teach meditation, I wouldn't have Monday meditation on my YouTube channel. Literally, there will only be one video. Close your eyes, don't think about anything.
That's it.
But it's no good to the people. Because they'll be like,
first,
how do I do this? How do I do this? Right? So why is it that we put these different forms and different things in? How do we help people relax the mind?
Yeah.
How do we make people visualize and see different things so that they get the idea of it?
Especially for beginners, for those first steps.
Yeah, and I think it's the reason why we produce things like that is to get people interested in it. Then when they're interested in it, to go on their own journey of diving deeper, to understand, hey, when I breathe, something seems to be happening in that moment, but I don't quite get it right now.
Yeah.
For them to continue to practice, make it more fun, they continue to practice and come to the realization that actually, you know what? Because do I practice guided meditation today? No. Do I practice visualizing? No, none of this thing, right? Because at the end of the day, when I meditate every day, it's not even a practice in the morning. Right now, as we speak, it's like, how can I go back and connect again?
Yeah.
Every moment is like that throughout the day. But this is not something that people can just hear and say, okay, I'm going to adapt it now. Because it takes practice.
Yeah. It's funny, we post daily affirmations on our page, But the funny thing is that even once I shared some stories where I was sharing my favorite affirmation, which is like, fuck affirmations. I don't need no affirmations. And this is my truth, you know, because I have this connection, this overflow, I'm walking my path. I don't need it anymore. But at some point, yeah, it helped me to reprogram the subconscious mind, my limiting beliefs and stuff like that. But ultimately, this is not what people are looking for. They want to surrender. That's what they want, which is what you were just.
But they don't know how to.
They don't know how to. That's why, we give them some tools, some things. But eventually, the goal is to get to a bit of a scariest place, isn't it? It's scariest, and it's not scary at all. But it's scary to that control of the mind that needs the practices, that needs the guidance, that needs the affirmations. What we're trying to describe and to get people into is a bit not so explainable. And so, since I touched a little bit like on affirmation and the subconscious, you're a big YouTube teacher of law of attraction and subconscious programming. Do you want to touch a little bit on that topic of the law of attraction, the limiting beliefs, and those kinds of things?
I think people make the law of attraction sound very, very mystical and magical.
Yeah.
When actually it's a very basic science. Very, very basic science. Science says energy is everything, everything is energy. So what is thought? Thought is energy. Science says energy travels by waves, what we call vibrations. But it's very interesting because when spiritual people talk about vibrational frequencies, the logical minded people are like, oh my god, these woo-woo people.
Yeah.
No, science. Vibrational frequency is science. So what is thought? Thought is energy. Right? How does thought work? In vibrations. Right? So what does science show in vibrations? Science shows in vibrations that vibrations will naturally attract different vibrations that are alike.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. So what does that mean? I mean, the basic thing of every movement, every action, people say, law of attraction, I don't believe in that stuff, right? What do you not believe in? I say, I smile to you, you smile back, wow, that's attraction. I just smiled, and you smiled back.
It works.
That's law of attraction, it's instant, So what is there not to believe when you say, hey, I put something out and something comes back, And so this stuff is very simple idea of that. The only complication that we have when people say the law of attraction doesn't work, and I find that astounding because it's the law of attraction. It's not, do you choose to attract or not? No. It's the law. It's like the law of gravity. You can't wake up today and say, man, the gravity isn't working for me today, right? It works. It's there. So when we look at that, when we say law of attraction, what does it mean? It's very simple. The biggest problem we have today is our brains, and this is science as well, right? Our brains processes 11 million pieces of information every second. The second is passing by.
Yeah.
We don't know about it because we are gauging everything right now, right? And if we are to think about it on a conscious level, we can understand, we could probably make out 40 pieces of information. Oh, temperature. Oh, there's a sound of a car. Oh, the person's moving. Oh, you can probably work out 40 out of the 11 million. If our subconscious is producing so many thoughts every second, so many vibrations every second, how many manifestations are we creating every single day? Our entire reality, right, is the result of thought. There is no existence. Nothing exists. This thing does not exist. This thing does not exist. This chair does not exist. No thing you can see in this physical world didn't come from thought. Right? The window we see is because somebody thought to put the window there, or thought to design the window. So if there is no reality that exists without thought, what does that mean? We want to create a reality that we enjoy. What does it require? It requires thought. The only difference is this now. How do we silence the 11 million pieces? That's why we do meditation. That's why we do breathing. That's why we say be present now. If we silence all the thought, right? The moment we can silence thought and we can just channel all our energy onto one thought, that is that manifestation right in front of us, sped up. It's so fast.
Yeah.
But people have this challenge, their subconscious. That's why a lot of the time when I teach law of attraction, I say the most important thing is how do we reprogram the subconscious mind so that the subconscious mind is geared for attracting what you want.
It's more about like removing all those limiting beliefs and those things that are blocking that flow, that free flow from thought to manifestation, isn't it?
It's exactly like that. Yeah. And I think that pretty much concludes consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
People say, how do you see more? How do you become more conscious? Right? I tell you something very recent. And this is something I haven't said in public to anybody yet. Very recent, a very big master spiritual name reached out to me and asked me to go up to the Himalayas with them, with this master. This is going to happen in July, in a couple of months' time. Out there for 45 days. And I asked why. At first I didn't understand why. He's seen something in this connection with what I'm doing. And he wants to give me the master title.
Wow.
Now this is very interesting because then I'm going to meet all the other spiritual masters up in the Himalayan mountains as well. And we're going to do the meditation in the caves and all the whole initiation, everything. The very, very interesting thing is this. When I heard that, I was overwhelmed because I said, why me out of all the different people? Right? He talked about there's a certain level of consciousness that is reached, that is there's another purpose you need to serve right now in this world. And I could see that, but I didn't know that was going to happen. But what was interesting was this. I went back home, and the first person I told was Mum. Mum sent me a newspaper article of me when I was 18 months old. Okay? I was in the newspaper, I was playing some drums in Chinatown, in UK, Liverpool. And on it, the reporter wrote, right, Master Eric Ho, 18 months old, practicing his skills on the drum. This whole thing, there's no coincidence that happens in this lifetime, everything. This is when we talk about destiny and predestined and everything, everything is already there. And so when I look at consciousness today and people say, Eric, how is it? Because now, whenever I want, I flick that switch. That's why you talk about the spiritual riff and things like that. Flick the switch, I can connect. I flick the switch, not only I can connect, the level of consciousness is being able to look at you and I can see your past and I can see your future. I can see exactly what the struggles are right now and I can see exactly what is needed because I can see the path. Now, people look at that and they say, that's a load of rubbish. Like, what are you talking about? That's crazy. No, it's not crazy because every single person who's watching this video right now, they've all experienced this before. They all experienced it. And what is that? How many times have you in your lifetime so far, you see somebody, you've never seen them before in this physical reality. You think, I don't know what it is, I just want to say hi. Mm-hmm. They don't even have to be like particularly good looking or anything. You just feel this connection. I feel like I know this person. I don't know why. Then you break out of that fear. You go and you say hi. And you start speaking to them. Then a million things connect, and you're like, "Whoa, this is really weird. I thought this about you, and this is how you are." Right? What is that? Right now we say, "Oh, that's coincidence." Right? Coincidence. The word coincidence comes from the word coincide. Mm-hmm. A mathematical term saying two things are supposed to come together, right? So when we look at that, we say, what's coincidence? But the problem is this though. We've all experienced the magic of that, but we've also experienced the counter of that. What is that? Overthinking. We look at somebody for the first time, I think they're going to be that type of person. We speak to them, they're not. We got it wrong. What happened? Very, very simple. Simple thing happened. One of them, you trusted some feeling. One of them, you used your mind.
Yeah.
Your mind is not your mind. Because your mind is somebody else's mind. We've been conditioned.
It's like artificial intelligence.
The only way we have opinions and thoughts of people is because somebody's taught us something. It's conditioning. Our mind is not our mind. This thing beyond mind is a feeling. It's beyond logical. We've all done it before. We all make illogical decisions where it's like, it doesn't make any sense right now, but I just feel like I really want to do it. Then you do it, and you're so glad you did it. That is your soul calling, right? Yeah. That is the energy. That's the energy flow, right? So when we talk about consciousness, right, and I say, how can I see everybody and be able to see straight away, and I can see that, is because I know how to silence the mind. Silencing the mind is like this. We have a sea, and we have the ocean with turbulence, that's all. Everybody right now is in the ocean with turbulence. Imagine loads of turbulence inside the sea, you're underwater. What do you see? You see mist, you see all clouded up. This is what people see. They lost. Where shall I go? Shall I go that way in life? Is that my purpose? Is my purpose? They can't see because there's too much turbulence, too many thoughts, too much going on.
Absolutely.
So how do we see more? How do we raise our consciousness? How do we have this consciousness where, wow, I can see, I can heal, you know? Very simple. Silence the turbulence. When you get rid of all the noise, all the distractions, imagine you're in the sea, suddenly it all disappears. You look around, oh, there's fishes there. Oh, there's a boat over there. Oh, there's something over there. Now what do you see? You see everything. You even see the shortcut to get to the place you really wanted to get to. And you know what? Most people don't have choices. You can't have choice if you can't see. You can only have a choice based on what you know. So now I can see, hey, there's something good over there. Hey, there's something good over there. Hey, I like that as well. Now I have a choice to say, where do I want to go?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's consciousness.
And it's good that you touched on the feeling. I talk a lot about that, the feeling voice, you know, because all of us, we have this need inside of us. We need to feel good. It's not like a choice, you know, all of us have it. We cannot postpone it. We cannot leave it for tomorrow. It's always there every single moment of life. And that, for me, is the ultimate guidance. As you were saying, it's like connect to feeling. How are you feeling? So it's something that I say to people in the beginning is like, wherever you are, check, how are you feeling right now? And start listening to that voice. Let that voice express itself. And the funny thing is that what happened to me is that I started to be more and more guided for this feeling voice. And at some point, that voice became so loud that it just took over completely, and it brings me to the moment, brings me to the fulfillment that I was always searching for, and it was always there just by connecting to it. And when I connect to feeling, as you were saying, not only do I receive this information, I receive this yes, like this connection that is always a need, and when you connect to it, it's given. And this voice gets louder and louder, and when you cry and when you laugh from it, it's no longer about the story. It's just, it is feeling, and feeling is the ultimate like understanding that I get now in life. This is what changed every little thing for me. So yeah, so it's amazing that you touched on that, because this is like the main message that I want to pass to people. Hear the calling inside of you. You need to feel good. It's not a choice. And when you connect to feeling, you start receiving what's happening here.
But people find that difficult. They find it difficult, right?
Yeah, because they're stuck in the programming of the idea that they have. Another thing that you said that is funny, I'm just gonna tell a small story. A few years ago, I wrote a song that is called The Secret Punk Rock Law of Attraction. And it was like, I wasn't meeting someone or anything. You know, songs come to me, you know, like I feel some energy, I try to translate it into a song. Like I keep on listening, oh, okay, it's a G, it's this word, it keeps on coming. So I wrote it. It's funny, like I described like some girl that I would like to meet and hang out, and maybe she would look like this, maybe we would do this or that. But in the end, I'm really like doing the law of attraction, non-detachment thing. I'm like, is it true when they say there's a soulmate for everyone? I don't really give a fuck. I love life, you know. I'm like, I was open like that. But the funny thing is that a few years after I wrote that song, I met a girl at some party, you know, it wasn't a club, but it was some party. And I had this click, like, should I speak with her? Should I say something? So I just went and I just said, like, random things. Maybe it's just gibberish. It was something like, oh, your shirt, like, you like emo, dude. It was rubbish, like, nothing that makes sense. But I got used to not get stuck by the mind blocking me. So if I feel it, I go, and I don't even know what's gonna come, you know? So I just said, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And that was it. We spoke for like a minute or something. I went back to a different town where I was living for a couple of months, and then I came back to Porto to film a music video for that song. And we had filmed with other girls because we were like, I was imagining girls, so one girl, and I'm like, there's some type of girl that is missing here, like some different style that I want to do, because it's more like I was imagining, like this information. So I was like, that girl came to my mind, and I was like, okay, I remembered she was like, okay, I'm gonna write, like, hey, would you like to be on a music video, like, and stuff. I invited her to the music video. She was an actress, she accepted. And since that day, like, she's actually there. And like, it's been a few years, we're together, and there was so much that happened. And it's funny because it's all this process and all the things that you were talking about also, of like not being afraid to follow that feeling. And when I did it, actually, I look like a crazy person sometimes, because it's just like, let's do it, let's enjoy life, what do we lose, you know, I feel it. But it's amazing sometimes if we zoom out and we actually see the magic that is happening. It's crazy.
Very powerful. Yeah.
It's really crazy. So yeah, I just wanted to share that story with you. So what else can we talk about? Maybe you were talking a little bit about channeling information. I know that you do those spiritual riffs. They are just amazing, the way you just really immediately connect and bring so much amazing information. It's incredible. And you're actually helping people to connect to that higher power also, where they can channel that information. Can you talk a little bit about how that works?
Again, it's silencing mind. When I do the spiritual riffs, because it's a constant flow of energy, it's a constant flow of thoughts, and thoughts, by the way, in energy, when it's on flow, it doesn't belong to us. It's very interesting because recently I made a video. It was a spiritual riff actually. And then there was one comment, you will get a load of positive and you always get the negative as well. That's the balance out, right? So we always appreciate the negative to be there, to keep everything alive, you know? So somebody said something like, oh, wow, you just took Sadhguru's content and you didn't accredit him. I said, oh, wow. I said, that's Sadhguru's content? I said, oh, well, I should accredit him then. Yes. I'm very disappointed that you didn't accredit him. And I was thinking, that's very interesting because this is how the physical world look at content. But let's put it this way. Every viewer that is watching this video right now, they've all had a moment before where they thought of an idea. And when they thought of that idea, what's very interesting, they've all had this magical moment as well, where they spoke to someone one day and the other person spoke about their idea. And they think, man, you stole my idea, right? We've all had that moment before. Oh, we have an idea for a business, a product, or whatever. Then we see online, we see the product, and we're like, man, someone stole my idea, you know? Why is there so much that I can think of something, I can come all the way to here, Spain, meet somebody, and you have some ideas that are similar to mine, and I say, hey, I can say you stole my idea. But what if I was to say, actually, maybe there's only one collective intelligence. There was only one between us. What does that mean? In a very logical form for people to understand, what if there was one universal library? It doesn't matter where around the world, we are accessing the same library. When we get a flow of energy, you know, it's very interesting because people always say, I've got a new idea. There's no such thing as new idea. You've got a new interpretation of the idea. That's all. You're just gonna deliver it in a different way. Right?
Yeah.
Like, people say they've got a new idea. It's like The Secret. Wow, changing so many lives. Bruce Lee was talking about this. Napoleon Hill was talking about this. Like, so many people for so many different years was talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, this is no new idea. Right? The spiritual, you do spiritual teachers of today, you know? All spiritual teachers, we all talking about the same thing. But it's just we have a different interpretation of it. We have different language. We have a different way of performing it. But it's the same thing that Napoleon Hill said so many years ago. It's the same thing. It's the same. We're just talking about the same thing. Why is that true? And why is that so? Energy, right, can never be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred. We are just transferring information. We are not creating information. We have no ideas. That's why the moment you can surrender, you say, hey, I'm going to surrender right now. I'm not going to think anymore. Right? If I think, I need to say, oh, how do I look right now? You know, am I looking good? Am I sitting okay? That's thought. We're overthinking. We're not in flow of energy. So what is spiritual riff? Spiritual riff is saying, okay, tap the switch to surrender every thought possible, every mind thought possible, and just say, I'm going to flow in that moment right now. Right? And what does the whole riff process look like? That's why a lot of these people, they see, wow, this is like, if I look at some of the actions, when I'm doing the spiritual riff, like my hands are all over the place, this is all over the place, and I look at it sometimes and I think, well, I would prefer not to move like that, you know? You know what I'm saying? I think I'll be more cool if I just sat like this, you know? But it's a flow of energy. I'm surrendering thought. Do you get what I'm saying? And so, but many people find it extremely, extremely difficult to be able to do that. But when you do, that's when the magic happens. You must do it a lot when you're writing songs, you know? With a lot of creative people, whether you're rapping, whether you're writing songs, whether you're writing music, whatever you're doing, in that performance, in that flow, we are best in flow.
Yeah.
We are best in subconscious flow. We are not good in conscious flow.
And it feels so good.
It feels good. Time passes by, boom, it's gone. And everything was amazing. We perform our best, right?
Yeah.
That is how I was doing it. If I had to write a spiritual riff, if I had to figure it out, it would not be the way
there.
it is.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that switch, it takes practice, and that's why I teach breath work, I teach meditation, I teach all these different things. It takes practice to figure out where that switch is. Cut off. Like I can cut off. Maybe it takes me 3 seconds max. Anytime I can cut off, and I can channel. So, but it takes time to practice that, you know.
Yeah. Would you like to channel something right now?
I knew that pressure was coming. Okay. Well, we got to give a topic. We got to think of a topic.
Do you guys have a topic in mind?
This is as raw as it gets. Now the pressure's on. Now mind talks. I need to cut that.
Spiritual riff about no mind.
About no mind. Okay. We'll talk about no mind here, yeah? We're living in a very messed up world right now where a lot of people are trying to live happiness, right? We all want to be happy. But at the same time, we're too much in our mind, and our mind is not our mind. That monkey mind belongs to somebody else because it is our conditioning from society that has created that mind. And when we are without thought, that's when the magic happens. Just like this meeting we are here right now with Jofi, you know, is amazing. Not coincidental, we can say, meeting of a gathering, because this is like a brotherhood of a connection. This is a soul connection. We are here now in this moment, and this magical moment could not happen if someone was too much in mind. Why not? Because mind happens like this. Mind happens when, okay, somebody reaches out to me and says, hey, let's do an interview. And then what happens is I check the channel and I say, hey, Instagram, that's pretty good. But actually, if I look at YouTube, I'm saying, hey, YouTube, wait there a second. The following's not really there. So why would we actually do this collaboration? There's no collaboration here. But actually, when we surrender the mind, we tap into that intuition, that stronger feeling without any thought. What actually happens is we just say, hey, does this feel right now? In this moment, does it feel right? And that feeling was right, and I said, hey, you know what? This is just another divine being. And it doesn't matter about any following or any subscribers or any collaboration, because at the end of the day, this is one spiritual being teaching to another spiritual being in this connection. And when we are in this connection, I say yes to energy. And the question is, are you able to say yes to energy? Because when you say yes to energy and you flow with that divine, here we are in this magical moment right now. In this magical, what we can call a vortex, right? But when we are in this vortex, what actually happens is this message is going to go out to the world, but not just go out to the world across one channel, it's going to go out across multiple channels. And I believe this. I believe that this is not about me, Eric Ho. This is not about me as this physical being. This is about this energy, this universal energy, where we are one. And that's why I can push this out to 400,000 following to say, hey, you guys, now, right now, surrender also, and give this brother a subscription. Because when you do, let me tell you something, this brother comes from the heart, right? And this powerhouse will be one which will be able to spread this message to millions of people around the world. So on this note, I just want to say namaste.
That was amazing. That was amazing, brother, and thank you so much for the shout out.
You know, my logical mind didn't want to do it. He had other plans.
Exactly. Yeah. Amazing, brother. So yeah, and Eric, we're actually coming up on the end of our time. It was like an amazing ending. But do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience?
I think, how can we say it? Breathe. Practice being in the moment. We are very fortunate to experience life in this physical form. Make the most out of every moment, you know, that's all. Don't think about all the negative things, you know. We all have negative things. Otherwise existence wouldn't be there. Think about in these moments, hey, I'm alive. How can I make somebody else smile? How can I practice kindness? How can I give? How can I make my life meaningful by making some difference? Whether we call it big or small, even just to someone's life. And sometimes all it takes is a smile, you know? If we will go out there, we can just be present in the moment, look at the people around us, give them a smile. That'll probably make their day, and it'll change everything, you know? So, live the most out of life. It's we can call it a short time in this physical form. So, enjoy it to the max. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. That's why I call myself I'm alive, or I'm fucking alive. But yeah, Eric, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that.
Such a beautiful moment.
Thank you.
I really appreciate everything that you're doing. You're creating such a huge impact with such beautiful positivity. It's incredible to see.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much.
There is no me, there is no you. It's this infinite thing flowing around. Power that drives the universe, the same power that creates us. As I breathe this magic light, the power that drives the universe is the same power that creates us. Nothing and everything can hide. The power that drives the universe is the same power that creates us. I am this life. I feel myself in more. I am alive.
we're here now preparing for the interview. I've got here Jofi, who is actually the brain behind Spiritual Teachers of Our Time. I'm going to put his link here. Make sure. Yeah. Yeah, I know. If you guys aren't following already, make sure to follow the channel. It's really inspirational. You get a lot of insight to different things with spirituality and teachings and positivity. So make sure to follow the channel.